More on that in a moment, but we want to begin with the human tragedy caused by Hurricane Helene. More than 120 people are dead across 6 states. 600 are still missing. And today, the president's Homeland Security advisor said the death toll could climb dramatically. But the full scope of the 600-mile disaster is still not clear. Helene crashed into Florida as a Category 4 hurricane with storm surge above 15 feet. Then it was on to Georgia, where the governor compared the destruction to a bomb going off. But the highest death toll is in North Carolina, hundreds of miles from landfall, where the emergency is still unfolding tonight. Many communities need food and fresh water. And with roads cut off, some volunteers are actually using mule teams to bring supplies to Asheville, North Carolina. You heard that right. CBS's Skylar Henry is just outside Asheville. And Skylar, what is the situation like on the ground there?
Hey, Nora, good evening to you. We were here as military personnel airdropped supplies to Swannanoa. It's another small community just outside of Asheville that saw significant damage following Helene's destruction. The people here say they'll need all the help they can get as they work to recover.
The Southeast is suffering. Days after Hurricane Helene's hit, nowhere appears to be hit harder than western North Carolina, where some areas received more than 2 feet of rain. Roughly 600 people are still unaccounted for.
But this is just, it's hard to understand. I mean, this is just massive. This will take years to clean up if it's ever.
The city of Asheville and the area around it has been largely cut off since Friday. Cell service is mostly out. Electricity won't be restored for days, and help has been slow to arrive.
We've got a lot of family businesses that have been here since the turn of the century. They're devastated, and they're just trying to salvage anything that they can get.
10 miles east, the tiny mountain town of Swannanoa is named for the river that runs through it, the same river that washed it away.
And this town is devastated, but everybody focuses on big cities, not here. And we need help. We need food. And I know people are coming. I know they're coming, and I know God's got control. It really hurts to see such devastation.
Anita Crowder's husband had to use a chainsaw to get into her family's home. Her father died a week ago, and now they say the flood took what little they had left.
Can't imagine that it must be tough.
It is, to see everything he worked so hard for destroyed. It's hard. These people worked hard for what they got, and it breaks your heart.
Federal officials are still working on how to coordinate dishing out supplies. That includes more than 40 Starlink systems, 30 generators, and 60 pallets of water for people here in the community. Nora?
It does break your heart to see what people are going through. Skylar Henry, thank you so much. Well, tonight, President Joe Biden is calling Donald Trump a liar after the former president said the current one isn't doing enough to help storm victims. Trump visited the storm zone in Georgia today, and Biden will be in North Carolina on Wednesday. CBS's Scott McFarland is on the ground in Valdosta, Georgia, with more on the federal response and how this storm is affecting the presidential campaign.
Helene's path of destruction has forced the presidential candidates to change course. Vice President Kamala Harris returned this afternoon from a stop in Nevada for a briefing at FEMA headquarters in Washington and spoke to both North Carolina and Georgia's governors.
We will continue to do everything we can to help you recover and to help you rebuild, no matter how long it takes.
As a subdued Donald Trump visited a ravaged city in a battleground state, Valdosta, Georgia, where the power is still out, schools are closed, and roofs, trees, and signs litter the streets.
Helene turned out to be a big one, like just about the biggest that anyone's seen.
Trump falsely claimed Georgia's governor, Brian Kemp, couldn't reach President Biden by phone, even though Kemp and the White House spoke this weekend.
Donald Trump has accused both of you of ignoring the disaster.
He's lying. Let me get this straight. He's lying. And the governor told him he was lying.
And Trump suggested Elon Musk provide satellite service to help restore Wi-Fi, even though FEMA is already doing so. We asked him if this historic storm had convinced Trump to consider a new approach on a key issue.
I think these storms maybe do you think climate change get more aggressive about climate change? No, not too much.
Just down the street from Trump's location, downtown is shuttered. With generator power, Candy Bomber's restaurant is serving meals for those who need them street side.
Our focus is on our community, not any celebrity or politician that comes in.
Meanwhile, President Biden said he was commanding direct federal response. First from his home in Delaware, then back at the White House this weekend.
My first responsibility is to get all the help needed to those impacted areas.
With absentee ballots already being distributed, there's another recovery issue to our north in North Carolina, where CBS News has learned the State Board of Elections had an emergency meeting about the damage and said they will have a successful election no matter the damage. Nora?
Scott McFarland, thank you for being there. At this time tomorrow, both vice presidential candidates will be right here at the CBS Broadcast Center in New York for their only debate. CBS's Nancy Cordes has new reporting on Tim Walz and J.D. Vance's tactics with 1 day to go.
Ohio Senator J.D. Vance arrived in New York at midday today as Minnesota Governor Tim Walz spent one last day prepping in northern Michigan.
How are you feeling about the debate?
This is where they'll face off for 90 minutes tomorrow night. The Trump campaign says Vance will try to turn the focus to immigration.
We're going to build the wall. We're going to re-implement deportations.
Vance also plans to challenge Walz on his 24-year military career.
These were my Tim Walz glasses.
Republican Congressman Tom Emmer has been playing Governor Walz in Vance's mock debates.
Have you urged him to stay away from this story about Haitian migrants eating cats and dogs in Ohio?
He's going to concentrate on the issues that matter most. We need to focus on the economy. We need to focus on the border. We need to focus on peace and stability around the world.
The latest CBS News poll finds more than half of the electorate considers Vance competent, and the same goes for Walz. But Democratic voters are more enthusiastic about their party's pick for VP than Republicans are. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg has been playing the role of Vance in Walz's debate prep. Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar is Walz's longtime Minnesota colleague.
Whenever he can get in, I think, a little bit of his personality, I think that's a good thing.
It's been reported that Governor Walz is nervous about this debate. Is that really true?
I think anyone that goes out on a national stage and says, oh, I don't even think about it at all, I think they're not being honest.
And Nancy Cordes is here with me. So how are each of these candidates feeling about the debate that's going to be right here?
Well, they are, of course, setting expectations sky high for the other guy. So, for example, today the Trump campaign said J.D. Vance